This show is presented by the 323 Network. You can watch all your favorite 323 friends and shows on the 323 Network YouTube channel, follow us on all social media platforms at 323Reid, and support us as we continue to grow at patreon.com/323Reid. That's 323REID.
Hey, man, I'm glad you made it back from the Trump rally in time.
Oh, you're welcome. I made sure to swap out my hat.
Your boy Tony Hinchcliffe out there.
Listen, I can always take off the hat, but I can't take off the complexion, so.
Tony Hinchcliffe was something. That was some shit. That was...
Listen, well, I didn't even know he was going to be there until Luis had posted it on his Facebook. I was like, holy shit.
Can I just, honestly, dude, I know it's a sports show, but, the Latinos for Trump are just, they're my least favorite people because they think so hard that they're going to be accepted because they got lifted trucks and they work for the Border Patrol and their parents and grandparents fucking came here, migrated here illegally. They did it at a time when it was a lot easier to do so. They get all the benefits of growing up with an American Social Security number and ID, and then they want to shut the door behind them for everybody else and think they're going to be accepted. They only accept you because they like your food, they like Latinas, and they really deep down think you're scum. So pendejos for Trump is what I call them because they are the most self-hating, idiotic people in the whole fucking universe. And when they say the quiet part out loud and they literally call Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage because they think they're at a roast and not at a political rally, that is minuscule compared to what they say about Colombians, about Mexicans, about all kinds of Latinos. So fuck all Latinos for Trump. That's all I'm gonna say.
So you're not endorsing Trump on this official endorsement as we open the show?
Preview Wednesday night. We're doing our Halloween show for Mi Gente show, and we will be. And listen, I fucking hate Democratic Party. They fucked over my boy Bernie a bunch of times. I am not a Democrat. I am a socialist leftist, and I do not identify as part of the DNC. They are one of the most corrupt organizations in the world. But as South Park brilliantly put it, many, many years ago, all elections are between a giant douche and a turd sandwich. And this year, Mi Gente show is proud to support turd sandwich.
Wow.
It might not taste great. It might be more of the same. It might be more warmongering, more bullshit, more support of genocide. But it is definitely put some fucking barbecue sauce on it. Get your fucking panties up. Put your big boy pants on. Put your big girl panties on. And go out and vote for turd sandwich on Tuesday.
Fanfare for turd sandwich.
When in doubt, look at who the Nazis are voting for and go the other way.
That feels like a safe. Yeah, that always feels like a safe practice.
Yeah, when in doubt, make sure you're not on the same side as Nazis.
It's funny because I started typing in. I was trying to go to ESPN really quick, and I guess you had the word turd sandwich just got latched to my brain. I started typing turd sandwich into my my search bar.
Pick up turd sandwich. That's the hot pickup of the week.
In fairness, I
gave you Cedric Tillman. He went off. Now pick up turd sandwich.
Fairness, Scott hasn't been feeling good about turd sandwiches because turd sandwiches have been kind of ruining FSU's season this year.
We went about it.
Yeah, it's been a curse with turd sandwich. So
how you like the U, baby? All up in there.
Congrats. First one in 4 years. If it wasn't for the Heisman hopeful quarterback, that game would have been a lot closer.
Luis, this is the Sunday hangover, and to get the official intro in there, do you have any questions? Like any question you could possibly think of for XFL legend Jeff Brom?
What was the deal with the names on the back of the jerseys?
Well, let me answer that question by asking you two questions. One, is this or is this not the XFL? Yes, it is. Two, do I or do I not currently have a pulse? Yes, I do. Let's play football.
Yes, folks, this is the Sunday Hangover on the 323. I am your host, Reid Murphy. Welcome for another edition. We are not doing the Sunday Hangover on a Wednesday this time. So congrats to us. We pat ourselves on the back for actually getting to, the weekend semi on time. Wednesday feels like a good time to digest. Of course, the Sunday Hangover comes from, just a overwhelming amount of sports, of football in general, typically college football, NFL football, but also this time it's just sports all over the place. Happy equinox, everybody. This is the sports equinox as we're recording on Monday night. The sports equinox is it's when you have all the leagues, all the major leagues playing at the same time. There's an NFL game tonight. The MLB World Series Game 3 is happening. We have several NBA games, several hockey games, and even some MLS playoff games happening all at the same time. I would say it is probably the best of the equinoxes. It's like the number one on a top 5 list of equinoxes. I even have that for you. Number 5, the spring equinox. Number 4, fall equinox. Number 3, the Chevy equinox. It's a pretty decent Chevy. Number 2, Equinox Fitness. Shout out to little bougie, but it's take bougie over the Chevy Equinox. No offense to the Chevy Equinox, but also number 1, the Sports Equinox. Look at that, you got a bonus top 5 there. By the way, these folks out here today, we have, of course, the host of the 323 College Shame Day, Scott Ellia, is here. Hello, Scott. I almost called you Shot.
Wow. You
Rough.
see a white man, you just think about shots. Okay, cool, man.
Shots.
Appreciate that.
And also the host of Mi Gente Show, Big Chief Burrito, the guy himself, Luis Martinez. How's it going?
It is going.
It is going. It's going. It is going well. Of course, the MLB World Series is here. We're going to talk about all the football recaps, all the scores for the weekend. But MLB World Series Game 3, Yankees, Dodgers. It's headed to New York tonight. Dodgers are up 2-0 in the series. Man, we've had some moments. Freddie Freeman's grand slam the other night was awesome. It felt like a month ago already with everything that's happened over the last couple of days. But we've had that. Ohtani's injury. He's going to try to play through it here in Game 3 and be a hero, but who knows how it's going to shift everything. Luis, I want your thoughts on the World Series so far.
Late news, Ohtani is playing and leading off. So good for them.
All right.
I can't unsee this from the lens of a Mets fan. So in my mind, you do the mental Olympics to gymnastics to be like, oh, you know what? Well, if we lose to the eventual World Series champion, not that bad a season, right? You pull that one. I had picked the Yankees to beat the Dodgers, just probably because I was a little mad at the Dodgers. But man, what can you say about a team built like that? What I've said after the Mets series is that the Dodgers are the meta of team building right now, even though they've only won 1 World Series in the last several years. They win all the games in the regular season. All the top people want to play for them. They have multiple All-Stars. They have a farm system of seemingly endless arms there. They spend money. They get people to defer money. They do all these things. So it's looking more and more like the Dodgers will take it in 5 or 6. Series shifting back to New York, Yankee Stadium. Truth of the matter is Yankee fans are some of the worst. And if you saw the video of them like cheering when Ohtani got injured at the bar, which I saw, I was like, oh man, that just sort of reminded me that I was like, these guys fucking kind of suck. We got to do like a top 5 worst. I'm sure you've done it before. Top 5 worst sports fans. But Yankees would be definitely up there.
That might have been one of our first, but I think we'll need to revisit that one day.
Yeah, we need to revisit that because across, what would it be, like Yankees, freaking Phillies?
Anything Philadelphia.
I'm pretty sure it's how we got introduced. I'm pretty sure it's how we got introduced to John McCann.
Like Phillies and Eagles would be top 5 right off the top because they're like they threw rocks at Santa Claus and they also puke on people in the stands. If you never heard that about the Philly fans that like were like on purpose started puking on little kids in the stands of the Phillies Mets game. But Yankee fans, they're a special kind of cringe, and they're 27 championships and the pinstripes and this and that, and then all this shit. And meanwhile, Steve Cohen is now the Yankees' daddy in terms of being able to spend money. The Yankees owner has like $1 billion. Our owner has like $50 billion. Like, so it's not, it's no longer a thing. The Dodgers are the meta. It's been a great series for, I don't know. I think it's like the two teams that people really like are really open to root against, like Padres fans, Mets fans. Everybody was down to root against the Dodgers. The whole American League wanted to root against the Yankees, unless maybe the Red Sox, you'd like to root against more, because of Boston. But I thought I thought they dominated the first two games. They got a big lead. Ohtani's still in the lineup tonight. They take one of the next three in Yankee Stadium, and it's a wrap.
Also, while we brought up Phillies fans and Philly in general,
throwing batteries at J.D. Drew, that's kind of tough. But, yeah, we do that.
That is the voice of the Philly captain himself, John McCann. I can't disagree with you really at all on all of it. Luis, this has been awesome. This is an awesome World Series to jump into, and probably like the best matchup baseball could ask for. We've dove into that. Any changes, Scott? What did you took the? Did you take the Dodgers in 4? Did you take the Dodgers in a sweep? I know. I think I took Dodgers in 7 last week.
It was either 4 or 5.
Any shift in that?
No, I'll still hold firm.
All right.
Fuck the Yankees. That's why.
We can all go with that. Hey, let's jump into some NFL scores. We're going to do that. We're going to do our NFL recap first. I'm going to knock out these scores and then get Luis's thoughts so we can get him out. He's got important work to do. This is the man. This is the Big Chief Burrito. He's got shit to go on. We got to prep for this election special that's going to be happening on that we're going to try to invade over on the Ente show. Last week, the NFL Week 8 started on Thursday night with a game that was much more exciting than I think we expected between the Vikings and the Rams. Did not realize, I thought Cooper Kupp was supposed to be coming back. I did not realize Puka Nacua was supposed to be back that game also. That really shifted things for the Rams, and I think it took the Vikings by surprise too. Rams wound up winning that game 30-20. Rams are 3-4 now. Vikings are 5-2. Sunday, we had the Ravens and the Browns. Browns surprised everybody, picking up one of those accidental wins, that Jameis Winston kind of signature. 29-24, the Browns win against the Baltimore Ravens. Browns are 2-6. Ravens go to 5-3. Lions, the Detroit Lions powerhouse, they beat the Titans 52-14. Lions 6-1, Titans 1-6. Texans beat the Colts 23-20. Texans are 6-2, Colts 4-4. Green Bay Packers, they beat the Jaguars despite a Jordan Love groin injury that took him out late in the second half of the game. Packers win 30-27. Packers advance to 6-2. Jaguars are 2-6. The Miami Dolphins and Arizona Cardinals. That game was a surprise to me. The Cardinals beat the Dolphins in Tua Tagovailoa's return. Cardinals win 28-27 and go to 4-4 while the Dolphins fall to 2-5. Oh, the Jets and the Patriots. Jets and the Patriots. Patriots get the upset, I guess, in that game. It's upset. They win 25-22 despite Drake May going out with a concussion, another quarterback concussion in this one. Patriots win 25-22. Both teams are 2-6 now. The Atlanta Falcons beat your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, unfortunately, 31-26. Falcons are 5-3 now. Bucks fall to 4-4. The Philadelphia Eagles, it was no issue for them against the Cincinnati Bengals. They win 37-17. Eagles jump to 5-2. Bengals are 3-5. Saints Chargers, bleh. Chargers win 26-8. Chargers are 4-3 now. Saints are 2-6. I didn't even realize that game happened. The Buffalo Bills, they beat the Seattle Seahawks on the road 31-10. Bills are 6-2. Seahawks 4-4. Oh, the Chicago Bears and the
fucking Commanders.
What a boring game with the most exciting ending of the season so far. The Commanders win 18-15 on a miraculous Hail Mary Commies are 6-2. Bears are 4-3 now. Panthers Broncos, another of a game. Broncos win 28-14. Broncos are 5-3 now and continue to trip themselves into the playoffs. Panthers are 1-7. We got a lot to go on this running up the score to 28 points by Sean Payton. We'll get to that. Chiefs and Raiders. They can't keep getting away with this. The Kansas City Chiefs win 27-20. Chiefs are 7-0 now. Raiders are 2-6. They are not for real. Finally, Sunday Night Football, the San Francisco 49ers, they beat the Dallas Cowboys 30-24. The game didn't really feel that close, but, you get what you get. Niners are 4-4 now, happy with the win. Cowboys are 3-4. And then Monday Night Football will be happening as we are doing this game between the as we're doing this show between the Pittsburgh Steelers, New York Giants. Ultimately, folks, doesn't matter. Your day will go on, despite how, whether that game won or lost. It's okay. Luis, what were your thoughts on this Week 8 and definitely the Jets? Jets have been the talk of a lot of the headlines and major media shows.
This was a tailor-made weekend for Red Zone. For those of us that are good at the internet, NFL, Footy Bite, and others, that we can get the free streaming links to Red Zone and the games. That's fuck paying YouTube TV like fucking $180 for that bullshit. But yeah, dude, my Sundays, unless the Jets are playing, is usually like I'll get up, set my roster, tinker too much with my fantasy lineups. I took out Jalen Waddle. I took out your boy Terry McLaurin, and I put Jalen Waddle in.
Yikes!
That probably cost me my matchup here. I take a little nap. I wake up, and it's the end of the first round of games, and it's just back and forth. You got the ending to your guys' game that nobody thought was going to happen, right? You got the Ravens, Browns, Jameson Winston coming back with a vengeance. It's incredible what somebody with a little bit of accuracy can do for that team. I love the fact that he brought him back, and it was a back and forth game. Then you had what were the other games that were happening at the same time? The Arizona game. There was so much back and forth, and then checking in on the Jets game, and they flexed this. I think this game was supposed to be a Monday night game first, and then they flexed it out because the Jets fucking suck.
God bless.
And listen, man, Devontae Adams gave the speech last week, said we have to play with urgency, and then Sauce Gardner promptly gives up the booty pass to your favorite NFL bettor, and the Patriots, without Drake May, march down the fucking field and score a go-ahead touchdown, leaving us 30 seconds. And I am the optimistic Jets fan, but it is now officially Nick season. It is now time for Jalen and Kat and the Nova boys. And it's the Jets are a fucking unmitigated. I haven't seen that big of a disaster on a Sunday since that Trump rally at MSG. It was a fucking disaster. I have never. Listen, we had expectations with Testaverde where he got hurt, but we still made it to the championship game. We had that season where we started like 8-1 with Brett Favre, and then it went all to shit. We've had the Rex Ryan feet and snack seasons. We've had Adam Gase. We've had Zach Wilson fucking debacles, and somehow we've only scored like 30 more points than we did last year with Zach Wilson at quarterback when we had a fucking Hall of Famer. And I didn't know that things could be this bad. I didn't know that there was an even lower level of hell that Jets fans could fall to. And I'm starting to believe that the theory that that Namath sold his soul to the devil for the Super Bowl win might be true, because there's no reason that we go from having the top 3 defense last year to our defense to a bunch of fucking scrubs cannot just one drive hold them to a field. No, they big ass chunks from an allegedly the strength of the team. We're supposed to be able to score 22 points or 20 points, and our defense only give up like 14 and win the game. It is like it, and it's not like, and it's not, and I know there's a lot of Jets pundits that are like, I'm done, and it's just for me, it's just like, maybe it's because I'm still on a Mets high from having a team that wasn't supposed to do shit actually make it far and lose to the eventual World Series champions. And maybe it's the optimism about the Knicks season starting. But, and this is bad for Ricks versus Gricks, because once I'm emotionally detached from sports, that's when I can make very cold-blooded, calculated choices.
Oh, no.
So the Jets being bad is not only bad for me, it's bad for you guys. Because once I'm very level-headed and emotion is out of it, then I lock in pick-wise. But man, like I said, I can't believe we can still go lower as a team and as a fan base. So having a Hall of Fame quarterback and having a Hall of Fame wide receiver now and getting Hassan Reddick back and having this defense that has all this swagger, all these fucking all-stars, Pro Bowlers, alleged best cornerback in the game, who happens to be for some reason like Trump supporter, and Woody Johnson also. I think Trump was in the building for some reason. Was he there? I think that was last week when he was there. But my God, what an unmitigated disaster the Jets season has become. 2-6. Am I still going to watch? Yeah, I'm a masochist. I'm still going to watch. If they win the next 2 games in a row, is there going to be like a flicker of hope in me? Like, oh, we can go 11-6. And I don't know, man. Miracles do happen. But at this point, I'm just in like, all right, let's just play out the string. If for some reason we put together a few wins, I might be jumping on the Manders bandwagon the rest of the season, with your permission, and just kind of like, all right, let's figure it out. Like, honestly, at this point, if we're like Rodgers is retiring, I'd be like, all right, let's just fucking start over. We're gonna have a new coach, fucking clean house, start over again.
I mean, that's the hope, right? That has to be the hope at this point, is that Rodgers retires and doesn't exercise that next year, right? Because if he
wanted to play for a couple more years,
if he comes back for another season, what coach is taking that job at the rate that he operates?
I mean, Belichick to fucking go full circle? No, I don't think so.
He fucking hates the Jets. It's wild how much he hates that team.
What is it? Ben Johnson from Detroit, right? The dude what was the guy from Tennessee that the guy they should have hired this year that was coaching Tennessee?
Oh, Vrabel.
I guess Vrabel or Johnson are the 2 hot names, right, that are going to get jobs.
It's the hope that kills you, man. You're going to wind up with Greg Schiano from Rutgers.
Listen, can we just take Rutgers and just give them green jerseys and see how that goes? Yeah, man. So I, as a Jets fan, look, like this helps me lock in on fantasy and on the picks, because once the Jets are just like not tugging at my heartstrings, I can be more cold-blooded. But like I said, it's just a disaster. It's enough. It's just like whatever. At this point, you could tell me fucking Rodgers could retire tomorrow. We could trade Devontae Adams back somewhere else tomorrow. We could trade half the team. Keep Quentin Williams and keep friggin' Garrett Wilson. And now all of a sudden we got to give Sauce like $20 million a year next year. So it's. Listen, I don't know. Maybe I made the incorrect choice. Maybe I should have stuck with the Cowboys. I don't know. No, no, I can't say that. Can't say that. Can't say that. Can't say that.
No. Wait, we throw our heads back and laugh. Oh,
It could be worse. I could be a Cowboy fan.
It's rough.
But yeah, man. It's as a struggling Jets fan. I'm just numb to the whole process at this point, and I'm open to whatever the fuck happens the rest of the year. Fucking let's go. Let's just lose out the string, get a first round, get a top 3 pick, and just get the next Zach Wilson.
But yeah, I mean, at this point, you're rooting for the entertainment value of losing out and the awkwardness and tension of Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams and all these personalities who are stuck on a 2 to 4 win team.
Yeah, give me Trevor Lawrence if Jacksonville doesn't want him. Give me Bryce. Give me Bryce. No, I mean the worst case scenario is we lose like the next 7 games and then we win like a meaningless Week 18 game, and Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams are like high fiving because we won a game, and then we go from like the 1st pick to like the 7th pick, and that would be just like worst case scenario as it happens in the past to us before. So
I was gonna say you can have all the hope there, and you're gonna take Shedeur Sanders and 2 years of Deion Sanders, and you're gonna like it.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I want to make sure, because I know I don't usually get to come in on the Hangover show, but yeah, this was a great weekend, man, for football. The end of those first half games was awesome, and congrats to the fucking Manders for fucking having a quarterback and getting that shit done one way or another, man.
We appreciate you. We appreciate you.
The fucking Commanders. Ah!
I'll talk to you guys later, though. I'm out of here.
All right.
Later.
See ya.
Later, guys.
So, Scott.
Hi.
I want to go over some thoughts real quick before we jump into the college. Just some quick thoughts on the rest of the NFL games. Like
Okay.
We had all those scores and just some things that I noticed, right? And I was fully prepared to overreact with a massive rant, music, and everything accompanying that Washington game. Because, full disclosure, I didn't watch the game until 9 o'clock last night. It was a 4 o'clock game. I was doing some side work throughout the day. I hit record on the DVR for that game and then just muted everything. I muted Ari Mirov's notifications on Twitter. I didn't go on any social media, nothing. And I was like, okay, I haven't heard anything. Like, nobody should say anything. I told the people that usually chat with me, like, hey, don't talk to me. I muted you guys completely. I was
going to say you should have told us not to talk to you.
I just turned off Messenger. I turned off Messenger
okay.
notifications, so that way it wouldn't have to, even come through that way. But here's the thing: right around 7 o'clock is when I start getting texts, and I wasn't prepared to get texts. I usually don't get texts from people on these Commanders games. Sometimes people want to just hear my thoughts a little bit, which is nice to know now. We're making some progress here with the show as a media personality. But I start getting texts of all caps, dude, with nothing but exclamation points. All caps, what a game. All caps, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. This somebody saying this, like somebody else, they were like, do you want to know my Caleb Williams score for fantasy? I was like, what's happening? What's happening with this game? I was like, you guys started calling on a group chat, on a group video chat, and I had to decline that and then write a message in my notes, copy and paste it, and then go into Messenger holding my hand like this, and then paste it in there so I wouldn't know anything.
I was wondering when you said that you were on the way home and you are going completely radio silent against anything Commanders related. I was like, how did he send that when we just sent that? Like he should have read it as he sent the text message. But nope. I guess that explains how you didn't see what we were talking about.
Mystery solved. And then I'm watching the game and it's beautiful. This is a perfect way to watch a game. If you can go completely radio silent and dark on the day, just hitting that 30-second button on the remote and just it skips through every shitty play. I didn't care about the Bears offense. I knew our defense sucked, but there's something about the Bears that I can't get into watching them. I can't, it's not that I hate them or I can't stand them. It's just like their uniform. I don't know. Just something looks old and boring about the team. I don't like Caleb Williams wearing 18 for some reason. That bothers me. It's just a whole thing. And the
It's really
game,
a weird thing to get hung up on.
it's
Supposed
wild.
to be-
The game is like the top headlines on everything. It was the top trending stuff, and it was largely a shitty game. But that Hail Mary at the end, and I don't want to dive into it too much because we'll have Zoo on for Ricks versus Grix, and we'll get a full Commandalorian report from him.
He might need that long to digest it, anyways.
Yeah, he needs that long to get his voice back. Apparently, he completely lost his voice. I don't know where he was or what he was doing.
Listen, I'm not even a Commanders fan, and I was watching that. And when I saw that Hail Mary go off, I jumped out of this chair.
Yeah, it's one of these things where that Hail Mary was so wild and just so out of pocket, and every storyline came out of it with Tyreek Stevenson, the rookie cornerback, who, God, film room must have sucked today for that, to taunt the fans, not even realize the play started,
right,
and then jump over and do the thing. And for people who don't know football as well or haven't played, like, it's one of the first things you learn if you're either on special teams or playing defense. If you're going to be out there on a Hail Mary play or any kind of play like that, the number one thing that you do is you bat the ball down. You don't try to catch it. You don't try to make an interception. You don't try to tip it up. Tipping it up is the worst possible thing you could do. You just need that ball on the ground. Fuck the offense. Everything went wrong with that. And I won't fully blame Tyreek Stevenson, who's catching a lot of shit today.
There's 6 other players down there.
He tipped the ball up, and it just wound up in Noah Brown's arms, who was in the end zone. The problem with all of it was, though, one, Jaden Daniels couldn't, that rib injury, he was feeling that shit throughout the game. Every ball he was throwing near the second half was pretty low. Thankfully, Terry McLaurin's just got arms to scoop it up, and also they really got away with one that probably was not a catch in that. But that Hail Mary, and Tony Romo was catching shit from Commanders fans, and just take the win, guys. The man made a good point when he said they should probably consider bringing Mariota in for this Hail Mary, because Jaden couldn't throw the ball that far, and he showed he didn't get the ball to the end zone, and he had all day to wind up. But that's where my problem lies with Matt Eberflus and that Bears coaching staff, because every decision they made throughout that game was stupid. The running the fucking O-lineman in for a touchdown on the goal line, who just literally, as soon as the ball touched his hands, plop, get that away from me. I don't want that. I don't need that thing. There was that. That was an easy touchdown they could have had. There was that, just sticking to the Hail Mary. You rush, I think it was 3. Typically, a lot of defenses will rush either 3 or 4. It's good to go ahead and rush 4, send 7 back, whatever, to hold on. But for some reason, they rushed 3 and had a spy up there to watch Jaden. And I'm thinking, why? You know what he's going to do. He's going to throw the ball down the field. He's not going to run it up.
Yeah, because at that point, they were on their own, 30, 40-yard line?
Yeah.
They weren't at midfield yet. So, what are you expecting Jaden to do banged up with that rib injury?
Right.
Take off running for a 60-yard scamper? That's not happening.
It gave him all day to wind up and throw that ball as far as he possibly could. If they had just had that 4th rusher, you probably could have fucked him up, and it would not have gone anywhere where it needed to go. But also, you're running a Hail Mary defense. You're running that prevent. You need to have a guy not only in the front, it's the fucking key when you get to the end zone. You have one guy in the front, and you have one defensive player in the back. It doesn't even need to be a defensive player in the front. You could have put Cole Kmet, whoever your tallest player is, who can jump, have him go out there and just bat shit. But no, they put everybody, they loaded up on the front and had a few people just clustered in the middle, and nobody was there to check Noah Brown in the end zone. It was a disaster. I thought it was a fireable offense on Matt Eberflus's part.
Yeah, no, because you could even say, you bring up Cole Kmet being back there. I mean, I can remember times in Houston where, they throw D-Hop back there on some kind of last-ditch effort, or Gronk would go back there for the Patriots, just put some big body to box him out. And I guess that was part of the issue with that Bears defender too, because he was the one who was actually supposed to be boxing out Brown from catching that ball, and he wasn't anywhere near him. You had like another like 5 yards away from him.
It was utterly ridiculous, but I'll take it. Take 6-2, baby. I'll take it.
Hey, and before we get into the college recap, I will recap since we're on NFL, I will talk the Kayshon Boutte memorial betting slip. We lost on some bad beats, man. Some terrible, terrible, terrible beats. I mean, the only ones that we missed Miami -3.5. They ended up winning the game, but by less than 3.5. And then we missed one reception. We had Brian Thomas Jr. 4+ receptions. He had 3, and then he went out with an injury, so he wasn't even playing anymore to get us 4th. And then Houston Texans, they won. We had them -5.5. They barely won, so missed on that one. Drake London just decided not to show up. Everyone else was scoring for the Falcons, but apparently not him. And then Carolina. This is where I knew I should have known better, is to put any kind of faith and money for Carolina to get the spread of 10.5 against the Broncos. They got within 3. If they got a final field goal in there, it would have been fine. And then Kareem Hunt I had for 60+ yards. He hit that 60-yard mark, and then he ran for -1 yard to drop to 59 yards. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Everything else we hit, everything else was good. It was just everything we missed were just terrible beats.
That means we're getting somewhere. We're getting there. You're smelling it. You're feeling it.
We even had Saquon 80+, and he went the fuck off.
I'm telling you, it's going to happen this year, because I was throwing it out for weeks. We're going to hit 6-0. Somebody was going to hit 6-0 on Ricks versus Gricks. Shout out Zoo. Propelled by nothing but hateration from Luis Martinez to a 6-0 record in Ricks versus Gricks this week. Just to close out the NFL talk with a couple thoughts here for you. What the hell do we make of Anthony Richardson, quarterback for the Colts, who still terribly inaccurate. I don't know if you've seen for fans that don't know, there are charts where you can log every quarterback's pass attempt and see where they're going. Dude is all over the field. It is nothing but 30-yard out, like 30-yard to 40 to 50-yard throws, and nothing's hidden. Like, dude is not in anything, and then voluntarily took himself out of a play because he scrambled too much and said, I was tired. You have to lie. If you're a quarterback, you have to lie. You don't need to take the full honesty. You can't say you're tired. That was the same problem with DeMarcus Lawrence at the Cowboys last year, explaining why they lost their playoff game, saying they were tired. You can lie. It's okay. Everybody's doing it nowadays.
Say you had to go take a shit.
Right.
Something. Like, go excuse yourself. But no, I mean, and to quote the great Dennis Green, they are who they thought we were. You know, I've been telling everybody, when Anthony Richardson was playing at Florida and seeing the same issues there, he relied way too heavily on his legs. It's very, very rare for a quarterback to get away with that in today's day and age. You need to have some sort of development as far as a passer goes. And that was my biggest knock with Jaden Daniels coming out of college. I was just worried that he wasn't going to be able to develop as far as like a better passer as a quarterback. But I'll eat the crow. I was wrong. So far, Jaden Daniels has been an absolute delight to play. Jaden Daniels is who the Colts wish Anthony Richardson was. And you're not going to get this out of him. Yes, he has a very high ceiling. He's a great overall athlete specimen. But when you're barely completing 40% of your passes, you're 6 games in, you haven't even hit the 1,000-yard passing mark, and you've thrown for more interceptions, you have touchdowns. At some point, it's like with Bryce Young in Carolina. The experiment has to end at some point. So yes, this is technically his rookie year. He had the injury last year, so he didn't really play. So this is technically, I guess, in that aspect, his rookie year. But you don't think that you could get something for him if you were to trade him?
Yeah, easily.
To say Carolina?
Something. Yeah.
Say maybe Miami. Throw him somewhere where you can get some kind of compensation for him, because as he's playing right now, I wouldn't be totally surprised if Joe Flacco is out there suited up starter next week.
Well, and that was head coach Shane Steichen's latest comment this afternoon when asked if, Anthony Richardson's going to be the starter this coming week or Flacco, and he said everything's up for evaluation. So
listen,
and he said he's tired. Joe Flacco's 39. His old ass isn't tired. He's ready to go.
Listen, the Colts are backing in and stumbling into a playoff berth potentially. They're 500 right now. They're second in the division in the division of the AFC South behind the Houston Texans. You have the Vikings up. I mean, you got to look at the schedule that they have ahead of them. You're in Minnesota, then you're at home against the Bills, Jets, okay, but then you have the Lions, and then you have and then the back half, you got the Broncos who could surprise you, but then like the Patriots are kind of heating up right now, and there might be Jared Mayo might be out of there in New England as far as a head coach. So who knows what's going to happen at that point in time? But like the teams that you have left on the docket to play for the rest of the season, like you can't be expected to win out from here and then, and even potentially make a run in the playoffs with quarterback play like that.
And I fully believe the Colts offense is built to succeed right now. This isn't something like their O-line is not terrible. Their O-line still has pretty decent pieces on there. Jonathan Taylor isn't Jonathan Taylor of a couple years ago, but he's still an effective runner. And Michael Pittman Jr. and Josh Downs and even Alec Pierce, despite what their fantasy scores might say, they're not scrubs. Like, those are receivers who can play and have definitely played better with Flacco when Flacco's been in. I mean, for God's sakes, we were theorizing that Michael Pittman was faking an injury just because he didn't want to play with Anthony Richardson. Just off the pure threat of it, that could be real now. So, yeah, I would be fully on the train of throwing Flacco in and just seeing what could happen. I mean, he took the Browns to the playoffs last year. Sometimes it just has to happen. I hope Anthony Richardson can develop into something, but...
No. Fuck him.
That's it then. That's the official endorsement. Final thing I have is Broncos-Panthers. Not a game that anybody wants to talk about, but it's the only time, especially lately, that I have found myself on Sean Payton's side and in full agreement with him. Because there was a moment at the end of that game. Broncos won 28-7, I think, in that one. That's not a massive score. It's 28 points. That's not a big problem. But there was a moment at the end of the game where Sean Payton was being confronted by Panthers players, and Panthers players and fans taking disrespect and saying that Payton was trying to run up the score when he was trying to keep going for plays. And they said it was disrespectful. Sean Payton, I think, had the perfect response because, one, I'm not a fan of people being mad at running up the score. I come from a lineage of a team that was run by Joe Gibbs, who famously said, "Play defense. It's your job to stop me. It's not my job to stop. It's your job to stop me." On there. And Sean Payton said the same thing. He literally just said, "Play better." Like, what am I going to just stop? Just you play better then. And it's 28 points. That's the most pathetic shit I've heard from a bad team. Like, we talked about the Jets and the Cowboys earlier. The Panthers are the most pathetic team and organization, I think, in football and potentially sports right now.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the Panthers schedule for the rest of the season, and I don't see a win anywhere. I feel terrible with their schedule. They still got to play the Bucks twice. They play the Falcons. They got the Giants, Eagles, and Cowboys left on the schedule. They got to play the Chiefs at home. So like, I guess the only good thing is only 3 of the games remaining are on the road.
Yeah.
It just doesn't mean they're not going to make any money because no one's going to come out to that shit show.
No. And I feel terrible for their fans. I feel terrible for the fans.
The best thing that the Panthers organization can do right now is with Cooper Kupp seemingly off the trade portal in the NFL after the Rams victory is Deontay Johnson, trade him somewhere. Adam Thielen, trade him somewhere. Like, start unloading your assets and just call it quits because you're not doing anything. Get the first overall pick and move on.
Shit, just to make a good story. Just ship something and Adam Thielen to Minnesota just so he can go out with the Vikings and get Jordan Addison, since Addison doesn't want to be in Minnesota. That could be a good young building piece. He's cheap and everything. Get him to Carolina. And then, ship Deontay Johnson out because he deserves better. He deserves a lot better than Carolina.
Right. Could you imagine Deontay Johnson suited up on the other side of Terry?
I would like it.
Listen, aside from Terry, the rest of your guys' wide receiver room is just like putting puzzle pieces together. Like you're just slapping something together.
I mean,
No, there's no clear number 2 in my mind in Washington.
It feels like old school Washington glory when you have somebody named Olamide Zacchaeus as like your star number 2. Like, that's some old Santonio Holmes, Jabbar Gaffney, Anthony Armstrong kind of play right there.
Jabbar Gaff. Listen, I would love taking Deontay as a Bucks fan, but they're not going to trade within the division. Give us that asset. I would love to have him.
Who could you all get? T. Higgins is going to be traded at some point, I feel like.
Yeah.
That's our NFL coverage for the weekend and Sunday hangover. Let's send it over to the host of College Shame Day, Scott Ellia, with your college recap.
Transition. That's right, folks. Week 9 in the college football world is finally in the books. We're moving on to week 10. And boy, oh boy, was it another wild weekend in college football. I mean, starting it off on Thursday, like we talked about on Shame Day last week, I mean, we're getting games every single day. I think for another, Reid, another like almost month?
Yeah, pretty much.
Jeez. I mean, and then when you start off the college football weekend with an absolute routing of Pittsburgh 41 over Syracuse 13. Did you see that Kyle McCord threw 5 interceptions?
Ugh.
35 of 64 for 300 plus yards and 5 picks. Like, you really feel for the guy, but hey, oh well. And then Ashton Genty, yes, he went over the 120-yard mark again, a little bit more reserved in his weeks there in Boise State, 29-24 over UNLV.
The boogeyman.
Hopefully his production isn't slowing down.
I mean, we did predict that a little bit on Shame Day.
Right. Hey, the other shoe has to drop at some point. And then just rattling it off before we get into the actual game of the week results of Texas and Vanderbilt. Oregon, shocker, 38-9 over Illinois. No surprise there. Penn State traveling to Wisconsin, 28-13. Ohio State, Nebraska, that game got down to the wire. I thought Nebraska was going to be able to escape Ohio State there with a win. Barely squeaked out 21-17. Ryan Day is slowly losing faith of the Ohio State Buckeye fans, and I am here for it.
Yeah, I'm down for it. I mean, that was my bold prediction ahead of the season, was that they would get his painted hair out of there.
Listen, if James Franklin can be under fire in Penn State, then so can Ryan Day.
I mean, that's James Franklin's life.
Right, he's just always under fire. Poor guy. We'll move past this one really quick. Miami 36, Florida State 14. Texas A&M.
Scramble.
Hey, that was the lame of the week. We don't want to give that any coverage. Texas A&M 38, LSU 23. That was one of those games from the Wheel Degenerate that we did not hit on. If I could have picked both of those teams just to lose and Bane coming out in the field, I would have preferred that. But of course, Brian Kelly is going to do what he does best and shit his pants when it matters most. So thankfully, we should not be seeing the LSU Tigers in the college football playoff. Reid, your BYU Cougars, 37 points, 24. They were road underdogs, and we called it. And the BYU quarterback did it again.
BYU.
And you know what? Talk about shame day. How shameful is it to just spit on the American flag? Absolutely despicable. And that's what Notre Dame did.
They should be
51-14 over Navy. They should be deported.
They should
put them behind the wall before we build it.
Try for treason. They should be tried for treason. And God help them if they do it to Army in a couple weeks.
Listen, I am hoping that Army comes back and just gives it right back to him. Of course, next up on Notre Dame's slate is the Florida State Seminoles. So we'll see. We'll see there.
Hope.
Indiana College Game Day went there. Reid, did you see the Signetti towels that they were handing out at Indiana in the stands? You need to do a quick Google search for that while I'm talking about this game. 31-17 over Washington. He moves on to leading the Hoosiers to 8-0. He is, I believe, the blurb that I saw, the first Power 5 conference coach to lead 2 separate teams to perfect 8-0 records back-to-back seasons. Last year, he led the JMU Dukes to 10-0 to open the season. Alabama over Missouri. Yeah, Missouri are frauds, 34-0.
What are these
How'd you like that towel?
What are these Kurt Signetti towels?
I would pay top dollar. I would pay top dollar for that damn towel, and I would hang it with pride. I'd hang with pride right back there. And for folks who don't know where back there is, you got to check out the YouTube channel at 323 Reid. I'm pointing to my wonderful bookcase with, the Space Force trophy.
Shout out fantasy champs.
And another game that was too close for comfort, Kansas State 29, Kansas 27. I thought they were going to drop the ball there as well. Ole Miss over Oklahoma 26-14, and then SMU barely squeaking out over Duke on the road 28-27, which leaves the College Shame Day game of the week. Your Texas Longhorns defeating the not-so-giant killers Vanderbilt Commodores 27-24. Quinn Ewers completed 17 consecutive passes, 288 yards and 3 touchdowns. Thankfully, he was able to overcome that early interception that was caused by a tip pass. Steve Sarkisian continues to emphasize the game as a culture and toughness win, which it definitely was. I think that's something that Quinn Ewers especially needed to do to prove to Coach Sarkisian there that he is the man there in Austin to keep moving the ball forward. Vanderbilt. This game marks the first ranking in the top 25 since 2012. Diego Pavia threw for 2 touchdown passes, bringing the team closer towards the end. Reid, crazy statistic for you. Texas outgained Vanderbilt 392 to 269, despite giving up 4 sacks and committing 10 penalties for 108 yards.
That's maybe the stat of the weekend.
That math ain't mathin', man. I don't know how they still did that.
That's weird. That's football. That's what that is.
Right. But that's what I'm here for. Thankfully, Texas can take a little bit of a break before hosting Florida November 9th. Vanderbilt will be visiting Auburn this week on Saturday, the 2nd. The 2nd. Oh, and that reminds me, Reid. The 2nd. What? That makes it a new month, right?
That is a new month.
So that means that College Shame Day will be coming out with a new episode November 2nd.
Yes.
That only means one thing. That we will be having a second winner of the $25 Fanatics gift card giveaway that we do here every single month of the college football season. There is one person who's a clear favorite right now based off of his activity on the Instagram page. But if you want to try to step in his way and play spoiler to all the great support that he's been giving over there to the Instagram page, make sure to go to 323 College Shame Day on Instagram. All you got to do is follow, gets you an automatic bid into the giveaway. And of course, based off likes and any kind of other activity that you give the page, that will give you another couple entries into the wheel of not so degenerate. I guess the wheel of giving. I guess we can.
Yeah, because it was the wheel of misfortune last week, and now it's the wheel of giving.
Yeah, now it is. And continuing about the wheel of misfortune, the wheel of degenerate ticket, we of course missed on some other bad beats there. It's just bad beats central, Reid, between college and the NFL. Of course, yes, like we said, we did hit on the BYU money line against UCF, called that right out the gate. We hit on the under, and this one was a game that I was kind of stressing for a little bit there. Under 54.5 points of Illinois and Oregon. I guess selfishly, I'm okay with the miss of over 54.5 points of Florida State and Miami, because that would have meant the win. The loss against Miami would have been a lot more difficult to swallow.
Yeah, but it was coming tight though.
Right.
Now go.
That's one of my worst.
Yeah, I had to stop my whole brain for a second. And then to round it out, miss, and this is just another reason why I should never bet on Brian Kelly and LSU. Missed on the money line against Texas A&M, and then we also missed on SMU minus 11.5 against Duke. So we'll put that on behind us, Reid, and keep moving forward into week 10 of college football, which has a really great slate of games coming up. But we'll get into more of that on Saturday, Reid. We don't want to spoil it. This is a hangover.
Hell
this
yeah.
is what digest what's already happened, not try to pre-digest. This isn't a prebiotic. This is a probiotic show.
We're all probiotic. I've missed an opportunity tonight after that Hail Mary. Like I'm still high. Like I'm still falling a little all over the place. I almost fell off the bed and sprained my foot last night.
I guess the YMCA, you might get popped for a random drug screening at the Y.
That's a conversation that could be had about about certain things in the future. Once I'm not doing, working at certain places, we could have conversations about certain things and practices and lack thereof. But, again,
Chicago.
that's what
I love it.
That's a easy transition to get out of any type of trouble. Hey, before we get out of here, I want to close out the show with a little something for you, Scott.
I'm ready.
Spooky season is more upon us than ever before. Halloween is this week. We will have our 323 Halloween special. It's going to be a special edition of Ricks versus Gricks. You are going to want to subscribe to the 323 Network on YouTube and go watch us on Thursday do these picks and talk about whatever, because it's a Halloween show. What could that possibly mean visually? The audio audience, if you're just sticking to the audio, man, I don't know what you're doing. You're going to be missing something. It's going to be fun. Travis Byron will be here as our guest picker, but we're going to have some fun Halloween top fives to get into. But I need to spark it up a little bit, right? And make a little cross in Halloween and athletes here. And I thought about something, while watching Derrick Henry. I can't help but think of how terrifying he is as a person. And also, new to this, Ashton Genty, the boogeyman. He's literally called the boogeyman because he stands there like Michael Myers. And he is just a terrifying, terrifying athlete. And I wanted to do for spooky season a quick top 5 list, which is a theme of the Sunday Hangover. It's part of us. It's in us. I wanted to do... Fuck. Now go. So close. The top 5 scariest athletes of all time.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is the 323's Top 5.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
You would usually be ready for that beat, that drop, but no, we've got spooky music under us this time.
Oh.
Yeah, buddy. Get that cha-cha. Something to just get us flagged now that we're, starting to gain some popularity and steam.
Non-copyright.
On Spotify. Let me give you something scarier than copyright officials. And that is the top 5 scariest athletes of all time. I'm curious to get your thoughts on this and on my list, and if there's anybody that I missed here, because right off the bat, on the OLIs, the honorable mentions here, of course, like I already mentioned him, Ashton Genty, the boogeyman himself from Boise State. He's pretty much the namesake of this list here. Meanwhile, Derrick Henry didn't make the list. As terrifying as he is, as terrifying as he runs, he's built like a linebacker, but runs like a fucking Clinton Portis, the first running back that could come to mind. Not making the list. And also, Brock Lesnar, WWE superstar, but also a UFC champion, too. Brock Lesnar is a terrifying looking human being. He did not make the cut just quite on this list. I will tell you, number 5, though, number 5 is somebody who, as a Washington fan, I've only known the legends. I didn't get to see it happen, and thankfully I didn't watch it happen. But the leg breaker himself, the quarterback killer, Lawrence Taylor. LT of the New York Giants, one of the fiercest defensive players of all time. Lawrence Taylor, terrifying, horrifying athlete, one of the best. Could have been cocaine-fueled, allegedly. I'm not going to throw that out, but he's a Giants player, so fuck him. They can all take those allegations. LT is number 5 on there. Number 4, I'm throwing it to baseball. I'm giving baseball some respect here. That's pitcher Randy Johnson. Not only did he have a just terrifying pitch, 102 miles per hour, which was crazy back in the day, birds fear that man to this day. Birds still talk about him. He famously just popped a bird in the middle of one of his pitches, which is like, I don't know what the odds are for that to have happened, but that fucking thing exploded. Feathers all over the place. Locked in trauma forever. Randy Johnson is a deserving candidate for most terrifying athletes of all time.
That seems like it'd be a good question for ChatGPT.
Figure it out, AI. You can do everything else. Number 3, going back to football here, Ray Lewis. Not only a fearsome, pretty much mad dog of a linebacker, one of the greatest of all time. I always call Max Crosby a feral dog, a feral pit bull, running loose on the streets, going after you. Ray Lewis was that. Ray Lewis was a crazy man, just in the fear that he would throw out to you on his pregame dance and his pregame routine to get the crowd hyped, to get himself hyped up. That dude was fearsome. He was terrifying to every offense. You didn't know what he was going to do. You just knew he was going to fuck you up in some way. Ray Lewis is number 3 on there. Number 2. It's a name that should be mentioned more in the realm of fighting and the history of combat sports. This dude came up from the dirty, dirty underground, the dirty belly of Miami street fighting rings to get into the UFC, to become a champion, to become a special guest star on the Drake and Josh Christmas special. That is Kimbo Slice.
Ooh.
Kimbo Slice was a bad dude. God rest his soul. He is gone. He's passed away, but dude was a monster. He was terrifying to watch in those videos where he would fight anybody in the streets, and you would think that you're going to die fighting that dude, especially once he got into the pros, once he got into the octagon. Dude was a monster. Kimbo Slice is one, and just the look at him. Just look at him. Fearsome.
Look at it.
Monster. Look at it. But he was awesome on Drake and Josh. Gotta love him for that. The number 1, though, it's uncontested. There is nobody who I think could ever stack up to the scariest athlete of all time. I don't think there's any debate here. There's no debate. Nobody could debate this. This is the most number 1 of number 1s of all time. The most fearsome, scariest athlete of all time is Iron Mike Tyson.
That's my number 1.
You could put him at 90 years old, put him outside, and put him next to me. I'm not touching it. Fuck that. Fuck that. He bit a dude's ear off. Like crazy feral Mike Tyson, when he really dipped into the ego and the domestic abuse and the drug use, the cocaine. He was talking about fucking dudes and scaring them through their nightmares. I was like, oh my God. Sir. And now Jake Paul wants that? At whatever his age is, I don't care if he had to step back from the Netflix fight for a couple months because I don't know, he might have had like hemorrhoids or something. But fuck it. That dude could lose a hand. I'm still not fighting him.
Mm-mm.
Not a chance. Those are my top 5 scariest, spookiest athletes of all time. Thoughts, complaints, criticisms, concerns?
No. I was going to say Ron Artest, but no. Ron Artest is
Meta World Peace is scary.
He is on my list of top 5s. No, Mike Tyson is the clear-cut number 1. I can't think of anybody else that I wouldn't rather see in a dark alleyway late at night. I will say a couple that I would like to mention that whether they be all eyes on yours or top 5s of mine. Like I said, Ron Artest, I mean, aggressive defense, notorious incident with the fans. You know, you just never know what you're going to get out of him. Same thing with Dennis Rodman. Talk about unpredictable. Like, you just never knew what was going to happen with Dennis Rodman. Let's go with Larry Allen, the late, great Larry Allen.
Wow, yeah.
No, he looks like a big teddy bear, but that's a guy that you would not want to get in a fight with. And to kind of mirror Larry Allen in today's game, Trent Williams. Fuck that.
Oh, hell
Fuck
no.
that. No way. And then, you know what? Give me Pedro Martinez.
That's an interesting one.
I mean, just a wily, fiery temperament of a guy. I mean, he throws old men on the ground.
Oh yeah.
So if you have no remorse of going after people 50 years your senior, everyone can catch those hands. It knows no discrimination.
And he is not talked about because you're not supposed to talk about him. He's just loose and free on the streets, going to his son's games now in Arizona. But there's a guy by the name of Marvin Harrison. We're talking about Marvin Harrison Sr. For years, I didn't know what was the deal, but Colts fans were very clear to say you should only say nice things about that man. He seems like a wonderful person, seems like a wonderful gentleman, very kind to the community, but if you fuck with him, apparently shit goes down. And you won't have to worry about fucking with Marvin Harrison again. That's all allegations. I don't even know what I'm saying. Right?
He's from Philly.
He is from Philly. He is from Philly.
That's all I'll say, man.
And, you know, if you want to look into Ray Lewis and everything, I mean, there could be some fear that way if you're in a porta potty with them or something. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if we're gonna go with scariest athletes, you gotta look at the frame of reference as far as like, is it me that's scared? Is it you that scares? Is it hot dogs that are scared? Because if we're talking about hot dogs being scared, it'd be Joey Chestnut.
Oh yeah, and Mark Sanchez.
Yes, Mark Sanchez would be number 2.
He would be number 2, right? Kobayashi can be number 3. He can be number 3. Remember that was supposed to be a thing? Like back around, I think it was around Labor Day, Joey Chestnuts and Kobayashi were supposed to go head-to-head in a hot dog eating contest on Netflix. And I never heard anything else about it. Nathan's is undefeated, man. You can't beat the big brands. Honey.
Honey.
Well, it has been one happy day around here.
Oh, happy day.
And this has been the Sunday Hangover, folks. We've been happy to have not only the host of College Shame Day, Scott Ellia, over here. I can never get it right over which way I'm pointing to. See, now you're pointing that way, and I'm over here.
Here, we can fix this.
Okay. Oh, my God.
Now do it. Other hand.
Damn it.
Your right hand. There you go.
Perfect. We are one.
It's like, what was that? What was that Siamese twin movie that came out in the early 2000s?
I remember that. What was that? That's a top 5 list we need to do of top 5 movies.
Stuck on You with Matt Damon and Greg Kiner.
Yes. That's a top 5 that we might do. Throw that into the list for the next Sunday Hangover or possibly Wednesday night, where top 5 movies that like are in your head but you can't tell if they're real or not because you never see them again. Shallow Hal is one of those for me.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I never see that anywhere. It's a deep pull. Kazam is one. That movie with Sinbad that apparently was never a movie, but I swear to God I saw it. Where it's
Undercover Brother.
That's one that I see all the time. Did you know there's an Undercover Brother too? Didn't have anybody from the original one in it, I don't think. I think Homeboy might have been like, it might have had like a cameo in it, but it was like a whole new cast and it was like direct to DVD.
Oh, Gary Owen was in it.
That sounds right. He had to be like one of the Undercover Brothers though. Like he couldn't be the villain. Gary Owen's for the culture. More than most people.
I'm looking at this cast list and a whole bunch of no ones.
Yeah, it gets rough.
Was it straight to DVD?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can find it in the Walmart bin. Not to fall into the weeds as we're ending the show with Undercover Brother 2 talk. We will get into more of that on the next Sunday Hangover. Thank you again, Scott, for being here. Thank you to Luis Martinez, the Big Chief Burrito, for being here and giving out his political endorsement of hot turd. Was it hot
turd sandwich?
Turd sandwich. I'm sorry. My apologies. Turd sandwich.
No, hot turds is a Green Party.
We will talk to you all for plenty this week, of course, with College Shame Day, the 323 Ricks vs. Gricks Halloween special, and we are going to get you through these next couple of weeks because, man, you talk about spooky season with Halloween. We are entering spooky season of country. It's going to be a time, so we will get you all through it. We're going to be here with you. We are going to be all in it together. Subscribe to the 323 Network on YouTube. So follow on at 323 Reid, at 323 REID on all the social medias. We will talk to you all later. Fuck Tony Hinchcliffe. Stay safe, everybody. I don't care if I got his name wrong either. Fuck that guy. Floating piece of trash.
Oh, happy day.